Religion obviously played a role in the Iranian Revolution, and some people point to specific aspects of Shiite doctrine as contributing factors to the revolution. This video provides a very brief introduction to Shi'ism to provide context for our discussion of the revolution. First, a note on vocabulary. While there is some flexibility in usage, Shi'ism is the noun for the religion, Shiite is the adjective, and Shia tends to refer to the group of people who are Shiite, although Shia and Shiite tend to be used interchangeably. The origins of Shi'ism are in the 7th century and the debate over the succession to the caliphate after Muhammad's death. Shiites were interested in succession through bloodlines. They believed that Ali and Hussein formed the rightful line of succession, but Hussein was killed by the forces of the Caliph Yazid at the Battle of Karbala in 680 AD. This is one reason why Shi'ism has many traditions associated with martyrdom. Hussein was the original martyr, and his death is commemorated during Ashura, which is in the Islamic month of Muharram. The holiday is often marked by passion plays. There are sometimes bloody presentations focusing on the suffering of martyrs. While this is often alarming to outsiders and is in great contrast to Sunni tradition, these types of pageants were also once common in Christianity, and you can think of the movie The Passion of the Christ as a modern example of this focus on the suffering of a martyr. Most Iranians are what is called Twelver Shiites. This means they believe that there were 12 legitimate imams who came after the Prophet Muhammad. The 12th, however, who is called the Mahdi, or the Imam-e-Zaman, disappeared and is currently in what is called occultation. The belief here is that he will one day return to bring justice to the world. This messianic element of Shia Islam waxes and wanes over time. Former President Ahmadinejad was a prominent believer in the Mahdi, and his messianic rhetoric contributed to the unification of international opposition against Iran during his administration. Finally, a note on clerical ranks. Shi'ism doesn't have a formal clergy. The word ulema refers to the entire group of Islamic scholars, but it does emphasize the role of marjas. A marja is a source of emulation. He isn't chosen from above, but below. A scholar becomes a marja because people choose to follow him. There are several ranks for marjas. Ayatollah or Grand Ayatollah is the highest, attained by only a few. Ayatollah Khomeini was a Grand Ayatollah, as is Ali Sistani, who is based in Najaf in Iraq, and who is generally considered to be the most influential Shia cleric, or marja, alive today. Ali Khamenei, Iran's current supreme leader, is also referred to as a Grand Ayatollah, but his religious credentials are relatively weak. The other ranks include Hujjatul Islam and Mujtahid. What is notable here, though, is that these ranks are chosen by acclamation of one's peers, not by a more senior cleric. Finally, just a couple more vocabulary notes. The word mullah usually refers to a local cleric. This would be the head of your neighborhood mosque, and nowadays is sometimes used in a derogatory sense, referring to those mullahs in power in Iran. And you'll sometimes also hear Khomeini referred to as imam in the Iranian context, elevating him to the status of one of Shi'ism's original 12 leaders. This is an extreme honorific, but a very common one. Iran named its main airport in Tehran Imam Khomeini Airport. This has been just a brief introduction, but I hope it provides you context for the religious references in Iranian politics today.